Alright, quick video here. This is a 2012 John Deere 1023E. It's 8 years old. I've owned it since it was brand new. And I want to talk about the drive shaft. And right here is your rear joint. Right up there is your front joint. And that's the joint that's very difficult to grease. John Deere gave us a access hole, small one at the underneath the tractor, to try and get up there and grease that, and it's virtually impossible unless you've got a grease gun that's dedicated to greasing that joint from the bottom. There's videos out there. Some people have drilled that hole out bigger, and I wish I would have seen another person's video. This panel comes right off. It's below your dashboard, and we'll come back to that in a few minutes. But to get to where I'm at, what I've done to gain all this access is your side panels are off. That lower access panel is off. I've done a couple other steps to give me some more light and some better access. My dashboard is off. And to get that off, the steering wheel's got to come off. And that's got an access panel, one bolt, and tap on it and it'll come off its spline. Over here is my wiring harness that everything has to be unplugged from the back of your dashboard. Right here above the forward and reverse pedal is my fuse box, and I bolted that from its mount and pulled everything off to the side so I can get some better access from the side. And the last thing you've got to take off is the handle to your parking brake, and there's a screw underneath that, little black Phillips screw, and that handle will come off. Don't lose the screw. And then you'll be able to pull the whole dashboard off. And then there's a little plastic piece at the bottom also. You can get the linkage off the parking brake linkage and get that out of your way. Then I just took my seat off, not the whole frame, just the seat. There's a panel behind your lower legs that has to come off. And to fully pull it off, you've got your knob to your depth stop for your mower deck. When you're mowing, that knob needs to just slide off and come away. And on the other side, your diff lock is there, and that is going to come up when you take that panel off. So when you put it back on, you're going to have to hold that down to get the panel back in place. After that, you can get your deck off, and there's nothing else to take off except underneath the deck on this side. Here's your fuel lines, and underneath here, I don't know if they still do it on the new ones, there's an inline filter, fuel filter here, and there's a bracket that the bolt comes out from the bottom of the deck that you just got to take that bolt off. Then once you undo the bolts on both sides, the deck will come right off. So you've got access to everything. And I zoom in here. What has happened is the tractor will still drive, and it had a slight rattle, and I could never figure out where it was coming from. It sounded like it was farther up in the front of the machine. But that joint has shaken enough that in the front, there and there are your steering lines, not these two in the back, the one here and the one here. And I always knew that that joint could fail, but I never once knew what it looked like in there, that it was right next to your steering line. So it has rubbed a hole in one, and you lose your steering. And I was out mowing when it happened. Oil comes out everywhere, you lose your steering, and I was mowing, so I could tell something was coming out because it was going all over the mower deck. So not only do you have oil all over everything that's dirty underneath all those panels, your mower deck is a mess. But now you could probably rebuild that U-joint, but I think it comes as a whole completed drive shaft, and I've got to replace those two oil lines, my steering lines. And up here is your steering valve, and there's very little room to undo the two lines in the front to get to the ones in the back. I don't think I could access it even after I took everything off to get the two lines off that I'm going to replace. But one way or another, I'll get those off. So I'm just showing you guys this video. Save yourself a lot of aggravation, a lot of time, and a lot of money. This panel right here comes right off. This panel right here. 2 screws on the top, screw on each side, and that panel comes right off. Takes a couple minutes. Without your deck being off, you'll have to lay down and underneath, turn your drive shaft and get that grease joint lined up. And then take a couple more minutes and put that access panel right back on, and you're greased up. You're not going to wear that U-joint out like I did, and it's not going to rub up against and actually rub through your steering line and cause you a bigger problem and a bigger mess. Good news is I now know that panel I just showed you, and I've had the rear panel off to clean up in the back end of the tractor before, but now I see how easy it is to get that deck off, that I can get in there more often and clean all that dirt out of there that is now saturated in oil. So it's been wiped off some. It's still a big mess, still got to change all the parts out, but I just wanted to show you guys what happened to me so it doesn't happen to you. Hope this helps.